Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulihil Kareem wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man istanna bi sunnatihi ila yawmiddin. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, brothers. We're starting again our new series that we started almost 2 weeks ago, the Al-Abadilah, the 4 Abdullahs, where we're going to go through the lives of the 4 young Sahaba during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These 4 Abdullahs, and with their story, with their life story, we'll try to know their interaction with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, how they think about the knowledge of the Quran and the Sunnah, how they have applied that knowledge, and what was their position socially and politically at that time, and how we can be benefited from the life story from these 4 Sahaba, the Abdullahs. But we mentioned that, inshallah, with the 4 Abdullahs, because they are all young Sahaba during the time of Rasulullah, we're going to add another Sahaba. He's also a very famous Sahaba. He's the 6th person to accept Islam. His name was no other than Abdullah ibn Masud. So we're going to, inshallah, talk about him also later on. But we already started the life of Abdullah ibn Abbas. And last week, we talked about Abdullah ibn Abbas, his life, like the background, his birth, when did he was born, and who was his parents, that Al-Abbas, the uncle of Rasulullah sallallahu, how was the household of Abdullah ibn Abbas, and we talked a little more about the Islam of Al-Abbas, how he became Muslim and what time. So these are the stories that we already discussed in the Sirah, in the life of Rasulullah sallallahu. We again bringing the stories, so refreshing our memory and also connecting those stories to the specific Sahaba or their family. So today we'll go into the life of Abdullah ibn Abbas and talk something about his lifetime during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we know that in last week we said that Abdullah ibn Abbas was born 3 years before the Hijrah. So when Rasulullah made Hijrah from Makkah to Medina, he was only a baby boy of 3 years old. So definitely he doesn't have any memory of that time. He heard the stories, obviously, like we hearing now from his father, from his mother, from his family. They know what was the difficult time at that time in Makkah, and Rasulullah has to leave Makkah and make Hijrah to Medina. And also we talked about last week that Al-Abbas, he was at Medina, and his Islam was secret to the Quraysh. That's the most, the strongest opinion, that his Islam was secret to the Quraysh, although his family was practicing Islam at that time. And just before the Fatih Makkah, so during the 8th year of Hijrah, or 7th, you can say the end of 7th year of Hijrah, they made, he announced his Islam. He came back from Makkah and went to Medina. And when Rasulullah was leaving Medina towards the Makkah, that time he met him on the way. And he was basically the last person, you can say the last family to come and get the blessings of Hijrah, because Rasulullah still haven't left Medina completely. So he met him there, and at that time he accepted Islam. So that is the first time, as a boy of 10 years old, after 7 years from the Hijrah, Abdullah ibn Abbas met Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So as imagine that he's a 10-year-old boy, and he is hearing a lot about Rasulullah from as he is growing up, he's 5 years, 6 years from his mother, because it's a new religion, and everybody is leaving Makkah. Makkah has very few Muslims living at that time, and they are hiding the Islam. And the family of Abdullah ibn Abbas is one of them, and he learned about the deen, and he heard about the Quran and all these things. So he was very, very eager to meet this person, the person who brought a new deen and the new guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he met him, and as soon as he met him, he went there and he gave him a hug, obviously. And Rasulullah also liked him, because Rasulullah is a rahmatul lil alamin, and he always has passion for every kind of person, elderly, or children. So this is his cousin. This is his first cousin from Al-Abbas. So, and he's Rasulullah also very happy, because Al-Abbas is announcing his Islam at that time. He got the ajr of the Hijrah. So all these things make him very happy. So Abdullah ibn Abbas embraces Rasulullah sallallahu, and that was their first meeting. Now after that Fatih Makkah, Abdullah ibn Abbas has only 3 years to spend with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu. Imagine, only 3 years. So during the age from 10 till 13, or someone said 12 and a half or something. And then after that Rasulullah passed away. So he has very little time. But in this little time, how close he get to Rasulullah, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And how was his passion to go and learn from Rasulullah. And this is why he is the second most highest hadith narrator of the list. And we saw that in different books it says that he has almost more than 2,500 hadiths from Rasulullah during this short time of period. And look at his age; he's only 13 years old, 30 years old. And look at our 13 years old and imagine their 13 years old. It's a gulf of difference. How they have abandoned everything and just put his own effort by himself. It's not like Al-Abbas is saying to Abdullah, go, stay with your cousin Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, learn this thing. No, it's from himself, and that it's only from himself. So the first thing we saw that he proposes to his khala, and we mentioned that one of his khala is Maimuna, and that time Rasulullah already got married with Maimuna. Maimuna radhiyallahu anha is in Medina now. And he approached, and his intelligence, Abdullah ibn Abbas so intelligent that he knows that he cannot just go to Rasulullah and ask something. He has to go through some challenge. So his challenge is his khala. His khala is, his aunt is Maimuna, and he went to Maimuna and he proposed that, can I stay one night with you, if you don't mind, because he's mahram and he's also a little child at that time. And he said, not any night, the night that Prophet will come and stay in your house. Because as you know, at that time Rasulullah has almost 9 wives, because it's the end of the life of Rasulullah. So every wife has a particular day. So he said, the night that Rasulullah come, please let me, inside, sleep with you in your room. So Maimuna said, look, our room is very, very small, very tiny, because as you know that Rasulullah, every hujurat of Rasulullah, every you can say apartment or every room was very tiny of Rasulullah at that time. And then she said, okay, I have to ask permission, obviously. So she asked permission from Rasulullah. Rasulullah said, okay, that's fine, allow him. And Rasulullah said, Haza Shaykhu Quraysh. He made a comment already. And as I mentioned in different times, the Arab time, there's a science called firasha. Firasha means you look at someone's face and you have some intuition from inside that what's going to happen with this boy. We have this in our time also, and this is Islamically allowed. This is shown by Rasulullah, shown by Umar ibn al-Khattab and all other Sahaba. They have this thing. So Rasulullah said, Haza Shaykhu Quraysh. So this boy will be the Shaykh of the Quraysh. Already Rasulullah made this comment, and it's a dua from himself also. He's saying this, okay? And he said, okay, let him in, let him stay with one night. So he stayed there, and this is from this staying. And we got the hadith of how Rasulullah prayed at night, actually. So he slept, and he said in this hadith, Abdullah said that Prophet ﷺ and his wife slept vertically in the bed, or not the bed, like whatever place they have for the sleeping, and he slept horizontally on their feet. So he is sleeping horizontally, and he was not sleeping, he was just waiting to see what Rasulullah do. And he saw that in the middle of the night, or just half past the night happened, Rasulullah stand up, and he got udu, he made his udu, and Abdullah ibn Abbas said he did udu ahsan udu. Ahsan udu means that a perfect udu. So already Abdullah ibn Abbas has an idea that what is a perfect udu. It's not like doing one time, somebody, because it's cold at that time at night, But the also said no, Prophet did udu that is ahsan, is perfect udu, and then he stand up for prayer. And when he was standing up for the prayer, I also ran and I did udu. And I came to Rasulullah, and Rasulullah saw me. And when he saw me, he pulled me with my ear, like in a nice way, in an affectionate way, pulled me in the ear, and he said, okay, Fasallah, let's pray now. So I started to pray, and we mentioned this incident a lot of time. So he was praying just behind Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and during the prayer, Rasulullah pulled him towards beside him, and Rasulullah started the Fatiha. After Fatiha, he said that last 10 ayah of Surah Al-Imran. So he did his first rakah. And when he is reciting, as soon as he finishing Fatiha, Abdullah ibn Abbas, he went back to his own position. So after the Salah finished, and Rasulullah asked him, why did you went back? I pulled you up towards me. And Abdullah ibn Abbas said, Ya Rasulullah, you are the Rasul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can I be praying side by side? And Rasulullah was happy and ajabat. He said like, Rasulullah became ajabat. Ajabat means he became surprised and impressed with this answer. And then he made a dua, Allahumma allimu fid din wa faqihu fid din wa Allahumma allimuhu al-kitab wa din, meaning, oh Allah, give him the knowledge of the deen and on the book and the sunnah, the hikmah. So give him the knowledge of the book and also the knowledge of the hikmah. Hikmah here means the sunnah. And they prayed together, and he said, Rasulullah prayed 2 rakah, 2 rakah, 2 rakah. So he did 10 rakah, and then he did 3 rakah after that. So in this narration, Rasulullah prayed 13 rakah of the prayer. And that was the night he spent with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and got close to Rasulullah, and get all the hadiths for us and how Rasulullah prayed. And Rasulullah obviously became happy to see the passion of this little boy. Now, as this time that Rasulullah made the dua for him, there are other incidents also. Rasulullah made different type of dua for him. In one hadith, Abdullah ibn Umar is saying that, we are all sitting in a gathering, and Prophet ﷺ also sitting there making some zikr and dua, and he stood up and he went close to Abdullah ibn Abbas. He put his hand on his head and he said, oh Allah, give him barakah. Oh Allah, give him the barakah inside him, and وَمَنْشُرْ فِي الدِّينِ, meaning make the deen spread from himself. Make the deen spread through him. This is the dua he made. And another hadith is that, Rasulullah, went to him and he was ready to get the prayer. So he went to the place of wudu, because that time there is no toilet or like wudu place. So they have to go a little bit outside and you have to have a bucket of water to do the wudu. So he was waiting, and he was waiting for some Sahaba to get a bucket of water for him. And as soon as he went to the place of wudu, he saw a bucket of water is ready for him. And he asked the Sahaba, or all the elder Sahaba, who did this? They say, the little boy Abdullah, he did it for you. And then he made another dua for him. And when he came close to Abdullah, he hugged him again. So in different narration we find a lot of time Rasulullah giving him hug, and it is a blessing by itself, Imagine Rasulullah hugging him, all the time and making him dua. He's taking him in his chest, holding him and making dua. And he made another dua that, oh Allah, make him the sheikh of this deen, and all this similar kind of dua. So the common theme that we find in the dua of Rasulullah, he didn't ask for Allah give him money, or Allah give him success, or give him, wives or children or family. He said, oh Allah give him knowledge. Every kind of dua you'll see, he's always talking about the knowledge with Abdullah ibn Abbas, and that's why Allah accepted the dua of Rasulullah, and he became the most knowledgeable person of the Sahaba of that era. As you all know that, and if any tafsir book you open, anything you open, you will see this is the comment by Abdullah ibn Abbas. Anything you know about the tafsir, you will definitely find the comment of Abdullah ibn Abbas. The next thing, there are different type of hadiths in Abdullah ibn Abbas. And as we say, the hadith of the knowledge, he himself narrated a lot of hadith because he understood the knowledge is so important. That's why Rasulullah making all this dua for me. So all the hadith about knowledge, the benefits of knowledge, you will see from Abdullah ibn Abbas. And because, as you can see, he was always stick to Rasulullah. He was very close to Rasulullah. He never used to leave him. Because he's a little boy, he has no other work to do at the time. He don't have school to go or something. This is his everything. This is his life, to stay with Rasulullah. So he saw everything very closely. Even the hadith about food of Rasulullah, you will find these hadiths are narrated by Abdullah ibn Abbas, because he used to see how Rasulullah eating food. One time he said that Rasulullah, someone give him a little butter and then also some bread and some dab. Dab means like a lizard kind of thing, like a desert lizard. So three things was presented to Rasulullah by one person for a food, and Rasulullah eat the butter, he eat the bread, but he didn't touch the dab. As you all know, the dab is allowed, it's makruh, but so he didn't eat it. So all these things, he saw it. He also said, one time I brought Zamzam water for Rasulullah, and Rasulullah took it and he drank it while he was standing. As you know that it is sunnah to drink water sitting. But there is a hadith from Abdullah ibn Abbas, he saw Rasulullah that he is drinking at that time standing. So all this little minute thing, he was closely monitoring. About the wudu, as we mentioned, he had a lot of hadiths from him, from the wudu. And the most important thing, the hajj that we do, and as you know that Rasulullah did hajj only one time. 99% hadith, or you can say at least 95% of hadith from Abdullah ibn Abbas. Why? Because he and his family was dedicatedly serving Rasulullah during the hajj of Rasulullah. And he was monitoring each and everything what Rasulullah was doing. Even in the day of Arafah, because Sahaba used to fast in the day of Arafah before, as we fast, right? Because the hadith of the fasting on the day of Arafah. But on the day when Rasulullah was in the Arafah doing Hajj, Sahaba were confused because Rasulullah making dua after dua. As you know that he raised his hand, he was making dua. Sahaba didn't know whether we are fasting or not. Okay, Sahaba didn't know that Rasulullah didn't tell them. So, and they didn't want to go and interrupt Rasulullah. Should we eat or not eat? Because they're already thirsty and hungry in the Arafah. Now we have AC tent there, but that time it was not there. So they are thirsty and hungry and they're waiting what to do. Because they wake up in the Fajr, didn't have anything, and it's already almost time of Zuhur, Rasulullah making dua. So Salama, Abdullah ibn Abbas said, this is the hadith from him, Salama, she took a glass of milk, and when Rasulullah making dua, and she went to Rasulullah and put the milk close to him. She didn't interrupt. She just showed that I brought a glass of milk for you, just to see what Rasulullah does. If she reject the milk or if he takes it. So Rasulullah saw the drink, and Salam also indicated, look, all the Sahaba are looking towards you, that what you gonna do. So Rasulullah drink little bit of milk and he continued his dua. So the Sahaba understood, no, she is not fasting, so they also ate at that time. So this kind of hadith all described by by Abdullah ibn Abbas, and sometimes you find the hadith is not from him, like he's not present in that place, but he heard from his brother. Like Abdullah ibn Abbas in the Hajj said that when Rasulullah started from Mina to Arafah, he at his back in the camel he has Usama with him. As you know, Usama the son of Zaid, Usama was with Rasulullah at the back of his camel, and from Arafah to Muzdalifah, it was Fadl. Fadl is the Fadl, the elder brother of Al-Abbas. He was accompanying Rasulullah sallallahu, and there was an interesting hadith about Fadl in this journey. I just want to mention that Fadl was traveling with Rasulullah from Arafah to Muzdalifah. The sun is set and they are going. So all of people are going the same way. Like there's someone taking camels, some are walking, and all this thing. And there was a lady beside the camel of Rasulullah. So there's another lady. She is accompanying probably his father or her father or brother, whoever it is. So the camel was just beside the camel of Rasulullah. And Fadl, he was young, he's older than Abdullah ibn Abbas, maybe 15 or 16 years old at that time. You know what happened in the young age? So he looked at the omen, and the omen was beautiful, and he was like always looking towards the omen like this, and Rasulullah every time moving his head towards him. No, don't look at there, come here, because come here. So that is also mentioned by Abdullah ibn Abbas, that my brother did this when there's a lady passing by, and he was trying to look at the lady, and every time he's looking at Rasulullah moving his head around him. So this kind of minute details is also from Abdullah ibn Abbas, and it shows that how much interested he was in every act of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now sorry brother, because I think some issue with my laptop. So I'm always at the end of the part. So the death of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when the Rasulullah passed away, because it's only a matter of 3 years. We had, at that time when the Rasulullah passed away, there was a confusion about the Sahaba, where to bury him and all this thing. So it was the family of Abdullah ibn Abbas, like Al-Abbas, and Ali ibn Abi Talib, and the Fadl, the elder brother, and even Abdullah ibn Abbas were all together, and these are the close people who give ghusl to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his body. And this is another blessing for Abdullah ibn Abbas. And Abdullah ibn Abbas said, when the body of Rasulullah was put to the grave, he jumped into the grave first. So when people do, someone has to go first, so to receive the body. So he said, I was one of them to receive the body, and he said, I put a red cloth or some clothes first in the grave of Rasulullah, and I received his body, and with him there was some other Sahaba, and both of them received the body, and they lie him down. And even on that day, because as you know, the Rasulullah body was buried almost 3 days after he passed away. So he passed away on Monday, and it was almost toward the Maghrib of Wednesday that he's buried. And by that time, why it was the delay? Because all the Sahaba who were away from Medina, they all came to to pray to the Janazah to Rasulullah. They prayed individually at that time, as we mentioned before. So all of the Sahaba were there in this occasion. Obviously, Rasulullah is not there anymore. So Abdullah ibn Abbas has a narration from another Sahaba. Even at that time, he's saying that all the Sahaba are here now in Medina. So this is the right time to go and ask them about what did Rasulullah did, a year ago, or what did he do during the time of Badr. So he still have inquisitive, feelings to ask from the Sahaba. And it mentioned that he always used to go and sit down near the houses of Sahaba. And he used to stay there, and he said himself that when I was sitting outside of the door of the Sahaba, the wind blew, and I was dusted, my whole body is covered with the dust. When the Sahaba came out from the house, and they used to say, why are you sitting here? You are the cousin of you're the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can call us and we can go to you. And then he said, no, the knowledge is sought. Meaning, in Arabic, it's become this dialogue actually became a title of each of the knowledge book written after that. Almost each of the book has this sentence: the knowledge is sought. Al-ilmu huwa allazi a'uta. Al-ilmu huwa allazi u'ta means the knowledge has to be sought. Knowledge won't come to you by itself. You have to go and seek knowledge. See, even at that age, he has this knowledge, and he used to go to the Sahaba, and he was very, very humble. The last narration from him for today, he said, Usama ibn Zaid, he was probably 7 or 8 years older than Abdullah ibn Abbas. So Abdullah ibn Abbas is 13 years old at this time, and Usama is like around 20, 21, and even he is not very shaped. Like Usama is not not like Abu Bakr and Umar, not like that age. Okay, he's also a young man, but still he used to go and, you know, when the Usama used to come to the Medina from outside, he used to go carry his camel, you know, try to pull his camel, give him water or whatever needed. And Usama used to say, yeah, you know, the cousin of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, why you are doing this one? You know, you are a very honored person. You don't need to do this. There are people who can do this for me, or I can do this for myself. And then he said, no, Rasulullah told me to respect the people who you learn from. Respect your and I want to learn from you, and that is what I've been told to respect. And when Usama heard this, he get up from the camel, he took his hand, he kissed him hand, and he said, this is what Rasulullah told us to behave, to treat the Ahlul Bayt, you know, to treat the people of the family of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. See, look at the respect transfer between these two young men at that age, because they were following Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam completely blindly. Everything he said, everything he did, it is in his mind, just like, you know, complete flash memory, and always he was implementing those one. So inshallah ta'ala we'll finish it here. Jazakallahu khairan. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.